Hi, and welcome to my Padlet project. This is titled Creating Autonomy. So, I set out this semester to try to find ways to give my students more of a voice and give them more choice in what they do. So, you can kind of see I've introduced it here. My students are always in math trying to find out what the right answer is, or is this going to be on the test, things like that. So I wasn't really getting the kind of questions I really wanted from my students. So to try to combat that, I thought of various ways in which I could motivate them to kind of think about math in a more personal context. So in a way that in a way they actually saw themselves in the math, and they found more uses for what we were doing, more so than just, oh, this is going to be on the test or something like that. So the Padlet project I have here laid out, the left side of the screen is kind of what I did with my class specifically. So going through my professional learning goals here, my motivating questions, how I'm defining autonomy and creativity in my classroom, what that looked like. And then on the right side of the page, I have put basically the research that I did and kind of the supplementary materials that I've been using. So I found some great TED Talks by a few people. I really like this one by Dan Pink, who talks about the puzzle of motivation. Clearly, my students were just motivated by getting the right answers, or getting good scores on tests, which is, they're all external motivators, and I kind of wanted to find more intrinsic motivation. And so what I found out through some of my research is that autonomy in a classroom can actually help develop intrinsic motivation in students. And so I wanted to test this out. And the way I did it is, you can see here, in the spring semester, I created two different projects. So one was a statistics unit project, and another was a project that came at the conclusion of our trig unit. And so if you click on either of these links, you'll be pulled up to what the project was. And they basically asked my students to go out into their everyday world, use what we've learned, what we've talked about in class, be it stats or trig, and find ways to model what they're observing or things they may have noticed in their everyday life. So in the stats unit, they are even asked to collect data, and then talk about the process of collecting data, like where there was bias, where they could improve on their project in the future. And so at the conclusion of both of these projects, they were asked to reflect on their experience. And a lot of the reflections I got, if you come down here, you can see that a lot of what my students said were that they really like being able to make their own decisions, and they really like being able to collect data and see like all the various ways in which their classmates found trig or stats in their everyday lives. And so I got really positive feedback from them about that. Not all students were ranting and raving about it, but it really made me question what I was doing on a daily basis in my classroom, and that I should really be giving my students more of a voice and more choice. So it's definitely something I'm going to work towards in the future. I want to be able to give my students as much of a voice as I possibly can, because they have said to me that they are more motivated when they are able to have those decisions, and they also find that it really helps them be creative in a subject where there's the common misconception that there really is not much creativity in math, but I kind of wanted to prove them wrong. So this is my Padlet. Feel free to take a look through it. Again, the left side is what I did with my class, all the way through to my conclusions and references at the end. And the right side is all the supplementary materials from these great TED Talks, defining autonomy, how you can create autonomy, why it's important, and then all the way down to a little dive into self-determination theory, which kind of goes along with giving students choice. So thanks for chiming in, and yeah, take a look. Thanks.